Welcome back. For those new to the channel, I'm Doug, a serial entrepreneur with a passion for learning. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how mastering the concept of perspective allow you to influence others, drastically transform your life. Now consider the following. An old granny, blind as a bat, walks onto a bus. A man seeing this stands up and gives his seat to her. Now some may say this was the right thing to do, or maybe even the moral thing to do. But in truth, it was not. The man was the bus driver. It is easy to see how adding information can drastically change your perspective on events. But what happens if you remove information? The best way to deceive someone is tell them the truth. Just leave out details and focus on different things. This is how the media largely manipulates narratives. They often tell the truth, not the whole truth. But people end up seeing the same event in drastically different ways. For example, say you're at war and you just lost a major battle. It wasn't even close. If you want to change people's perspective on the event, you'd say things like, "Our forces are withdrawing to more defensible locations." True. "We inflicted losses on the enemy forces." Well, probably a few. "And our generals are eager to re-engage." Well, of course they are. The details you choose to focus on change people's perspectives. During World War II, the Soviet propaganda machine focused on the small, stunning local victories the Red Army achieved. But soldiers knew the war was going poorly because these stunning victories kept occurring further and further east. Now you may be wondering, what is the best way to avoid being deceived? Experience, I found that the best way to prevent being deceived is to gain multiple perspectives on a situation. The more perspectives you have, the more of the picture you see. A classic example of this is the four blind men and the elephant story. In a remote village in India, there were six blind men that heard many stories of elephants, but none of them ever had the opportunity to meet an elephant. One day, an elephant came by the town. Each man wanted to touch the elephant to see what kind of creature it was. The first blind man touched the elephant and said, "An elephant is like a wall, strong and wide." Second touched the elephant's tusks and said, "No, it's sharp and pointy like a spear." The third touched the trunk and said, "No, it's like a giant snake, flexible and ever changing." Fourth touched its leg and said, "No, it's like a tree trunk, solid and unmoving." The fifth touched its tail and said, "No, you fools, it's just a rope. They're playing a trick on us." Sixth touched his ears, saying, "No, it sways like a fan." Each grew ever more certain that they were right and argued fiercely with the others. They started to grow frustrated with each other. And a wise man overheard their dispute and came over to the blind men. He asked, "What is the problem?" The blind men explained how they were right and clearly everyone else was wrong. The wise man then explained to them they were all wrong and all correct. You must put the parts together to see the full truth. Seeing a situation from multiple perspectives can often help us to further see a fuller picture of what the truth actually is. Now, this is normally where I start talking about ground news and how it helps you see different perspectives, but sadly, they've not sponsored my channel because I'm small. Maybe in the future. But back to perspective, how it can transform your life personally. Glass half empty, glass half full. What you choose to focus on will change your perspective. Focus on the positive or the negatives. Are you grateful for what you have, or always comparing yourself to others? You look for the best in people or the worst. What you choose to focus on will become a habit that transforms who you are. Condition yourself to always look for the worst, find it. However, beware, because you will also find probably the worst yourself. Altering your perspective on events transform you, motivate you, bring you joy, or even heal trauma. More on that in a short bit. First, consider the following true story. After the Great London Fire in 1666, Christopher Wren was put in charge of rebuilding St. Paul's Cathedral. While working, he observed three different bricklayers, one crouching, one standing, one standing tall, working very fast. First bricklayer, Christopher Wren asked the question, "What are you doing?" Which the bricklayer replied, "I'm a bricklayer. I'm working hard to feed my family." Second bricklayer responded, "I'm a builder. I'm building a wall." But the third bricklayer, the most productive of the three, when asked the question, "What are you doing?" replied, the gleam in his eyes, "I'm a cathedral builder. I'm building the house of God." See, we can control what perspective we choose to adopt, which can drastically change our view of the world and help change our motivations. As promised, we'll look at how perspective can heal trauma. Not only can it heal trauma, but it's currently the most popular form of trauma treatment. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT for short, involves patients revisiting past events and altering their perspective on these past events which have led to their trauma. For example, at past trauma, a person may say something like, "It's my fault my dog died. I let go of the leash. I'm a terrible person and can never forgive myself." But revisiting the event and focus on, not your fault, you were just a kid, not strong enough to hold him back. You loved your dog and always tried to keep him safe. One accident doesn't define who you are. You took good care of your dog. Your dog loved chasing cars, despite your efforts to train him otherwise. Never learned to fear cars. Not your fault. Perspective has the power to change how we and others see the world around us. A powerful tool for influencing both good or ill. I personally love it when I discover a new perspective on a topic. It opens up my curiosity and expands my imagination. I just love it. If you like this video, you can enjoy some of my other videos on my channel, where I try to explore new perspectives on topics. I'd appreciate the views. Maybe next time I'll be able to get ground news attention with more viewers. And thanks for watching. I hope you found new perspective on your day. Have a good one.